A Midsummer Night's Fayre, an enchanting dice game with a twist in the tail. There's your designers, 2 to 4 players, 8 and up, from Gamewright Games. Yeah, I had a little tear because it had the little stickers on it. There's your contents, and it says 30 minutes. A fair has come to town, and all are welcome to enter and partake of its games. But watch out, there is no ordinary fair. It is run by elves and fairies, and as it is Midsummer's Eve, they are in quite a capricious mood. All the games involve chance, but be warned, fairy magic might just throw your odds off. So if you want to know what that means pertaining to this game, let's get it open and find out. Alright, so we have the box lid. Let me just show you inside because this does pertain to the game. So if you stick around for how to play, you will find out exactly how. Here are the rules. So you have your overview, your contents, your setup, your how to play. Please note, dice action, scoring a minigame. Minigame explanations, diagram, there's those minigames. Here's the other mini games. I'll go over each of these as we go. In the how to play, the game end, the explanations, a word from Gamewright, and we are back to that front. Next up, we have the scoreboard. Flip it over. There's the scoreboard. I'm going to let you know right now, I absolutely hate this insert. It's all just a little too tight, and you can't quite get everything out without like prying it with your finger, and even then you can't. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do that, right? And then we are just going to cause madness and flip it over. And then see that card's still stuck there. So let's bang it out. Nope, that card is not, there we go, I finally got it out. So, not a fan of this insert. It's got like little cool compartments for everything, but it doesn't work well. So let's start first with these dice. I really like these dice though. You can't tell on here, but they basically almost like glow, like almost like, it's a glow. They're very fluorescent. You then have 6 dice of each color right there. You have the goblin die. You have a fairy in each color. That will be your point piece. You have the Mischief cards right here. So I'm not going to go in these in depth. There's only 6 different ones. But basically they each have a different colored fairy on them too. And that denotes what they can do. But I will go over these, what each one does in that how to play following this. One last thing to show you is all of the cards, the mini games. Tin Can Volley. Ring Toss, Buying the Pearl. So I have a funny story about a ring toss game. If you want to hear it, let me know in the comments down below. Hook a Hippocampus, Dart the Ogre, Tug of War, Shooting Star Gallery, Test Your Strength. Also I have an interesting story about a Test Your Strength game. Dragon Horde Hunt, Pie Throw, Splat the Butterfly Rat. I may have oversaid how interesting the Test of Strength story was, but it's still amusing to me, personally. Alright, let's get into that how to play. Here we are set up for a 2-player game of Midsummer Night's Fayre. You're going to be shuffling the game cards. You're going to be randomly removing 2 from the game without looking. You're going to deal 3 face up. You're going to be shuffling the Mischief cards, dealing each person 2. Each person is going to grab their little player marker over here, 6 dice, roll the dice for their supply, and then put their marker right there. You'll see my supply and my opponent's. You're going to take the fairy dice, roll them to create a fairy supply, and then you're going to put this goblin die off to the side. You're going to have the box lid set up. This is going to pertain when someone wins a game. And then, as I said, you have the scoreboard. A turn is going to play over 2 parts. The first thing you do on your turn is you play or draw a Mischief card. You can choose to either play one of the Mischief cards from your hand or draw one from the deck. Your hand limit is 3. If you have 3 Mischief cards in your hand at the beginning of your turn, you must play one. You are not allowed to draw one. After you play a card, You are then going to take a die and put it on one of the die spots on one of the 3 games. Each game does have 6 spots. It is hard to see the top 3, but each one does. I will go over each game individually after I teach you how to play the game. After you place a die, your opponent's going to go. If you have no dice in your pool to place on your turn, you instead are going to move one of the dice from one of the games, either yours or an opponent's. Once a game has been completely filled up, you are going to check to see first if anyone has placed any dice for the lucky number. In that instance, you're going to move your pawn 1 spot. You're going to get 1 point, no matter how many dice you have of there. You're then going to see who won based on how the game wanted you to play dice and so forth. The winner is going to take the goblin die and roll it into the game board. When rolled into the game board, you're going to get points based on what the die is showing. And if it is covering at all any part of one of the ones inside, you'll get those points as well. So this roll would be worth 6 points. If you roll the goblin head, you will not get any points. You will, however, steal a mischief card from a random or from a player. If you roll into the dragon in the middle, you have disturbed the dragon. You are going to score no points, and you do not get to steal a card. Second place will then get 3rd points. If there's a 3rd place, they will get 1 point. Ties are friendly, and then the next place will score their full points. So if we were playing with 3 players and 2 players were tied for winning, they both would roll into the box, and then the second player would get the 3 points, moving their marker on this board. Then you will discard the game card. Everyone will take back their dice, re-roll them into their pool. If there's any fairy dice on there, you'll re-roll them to their pool as well, and you'll flip over a new game. You'll be going back and forth doing this until there's only one face-up game remaining. At that time, everyone is going to take one of their dice, and they are going to roll it into the game box lid, scoring points based on its value, and the value, if it covers any, as you would with the goblin die. We will now go over the fairy cards, and we'll go over the game cards after that. So this first one is re-roll a player's dice pool, so you can re-roll your own or your opponent's. Next one is re-roll 1 place die. This can be yours, a fairy's, or an opponent's. Swap 2 dice. So this is swap any 2 dice on the board. You can swap a fairy die with 1 from the pool. You can swap your opponent's die with 1 from theirs, yours with 1 from your pool, or on 2 separate cards. You, however, are not allowed to bring a fairy die into your dice pool or put another player's die into a different player's dice pool. So I could not swap out my 2 with this 3, for instance. This is +1 or -1 to a die, but not the goblin die. This is the same thing, but +2 or -2. And then this is flip 1 die, again, not the goblin die, but just flipping it to its opposite side. So that is the fairy cards. Let me now show you the game cards. So you have Dart the Ogre. This is going to be the most, whoever has the most odd dice on the card wins it. Fairly straightforward. Tug of War. You are going to be placing, when you place dice here, you can place them on either side. However, if one side has a dice advantage, you need to place it on the other. So if I place a die here, the next die would have to be placed on this side. At this point, I can place on either side, and then the next one would have to place on whatever side I didn't place on. When this scores, you are going to see which side has totaled up the highest total. That side is going to win. From that side, you are going to see who has the highest total on their dice, and they'll be the winner, second place, third place, so on. Magic Geode Shy. What's going to happen is before we place dice on here, we are going to be grabbing 3 fairy dice. We are going to be rolling them and placing them on these 3 spots. Then whoever has the most dice that match these numbers wins, and etc. Hook a Hippocampus. You're going to be placing dice on this card. Once it is filled, you are then going to be rolling the fairy die and placing it there. Whoever has a die here that matches that number is going to win. What they win, though, will be based on how many people have it. Whoever has the most would win. If there is a tie for most, then everyone gets 3 points. If there's a 3-way tie for most, everyone gets 1 point. This is probably the most complicated one of them all. Find the pearl. You just want to have most dice of the same number. The ring toss, you are going to roll 3 dice when it comes out. You're going to place them on there, and then whoever has the most dice that don't match those fairy dice will win this game. Tin can volley is the longest run of consecutive numbers, so basically 1 through 6. So like a 2, 3, and 4. You do have to have at least 2 numbers in order to even participate in this. So if I had a 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and then blue comes in with a 1, they would score nothing. I would win because I have these 3 or even those 2. Pie throw is the most unique numbers on your die. So even if I had 5, 5, 6, and they had a 1, 5, 3, they have 3 unique numbers. I only have 2 because I have the doubles of the 5s, so they would win and I would come in second place. However, because of that, I would score an extra point. The splat, the butterfly rat, you're going to roll, and whoever has the most matches, and this just lucked out because it was the 4. Shooting star gallery, you are going to roll the 3 dice. You are going to be placing them like so. And then people will be placing their dice, and whoever gets closest to this total wins. They are allowed to go over, it's just whoever is closest. The Dragon Horde Hunt is very similar. You are going to roll the die, you're going to put them on here, and now it's the closest to that total without going over. So you are not allowed. So if you had a 14, you would not win this game. Finally, we have Test Your Strength, and that is the highest total. So when it scores, you're going to add up all dice of the single colors. Whoever has the highest total on their single colors is going to win this one. So that is how you play a Midsummer Night's Fair. Hope you enjoyed. Please head down below where you can hit subscribe, like, comment, share, and ring the bell to be alerted when more videos go up on the channel and to help support us. And let us know if you have any interesting stories from any of these carnival type games. So, until next time, pew, 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 pew.